I think that he knew what I was going to be the day I was born. I think he had this all planned out to find out how I would take this and how I would carry it. You know what I'm saying?
Hi guys, welcome back to the Ratchet Christian. My name is Esmau and I am the Ratchet Christian. A lot happened over the weekend. Some good things like the singer David being arrested, some terrible things like the tragedy in Shreveport, and we are going to get into it today. So starting off with the singer named David, using a stupid little 4 in his name too, finally being arrested for the suspected unaliving of Celeste Rivas, who was a 14-year-old minor that he was allegedly dating at the time. I feel like there's ample evidence out there that shows that he was dating her. They were seen together several times, photographed together several times. He dedicated a lot of songs and music to her. Let me pull up. I don't know. I don't have any photos of them together, but this is Celeste Rivas. She was 14 years old, and then this is David, who is like a alternative pop, indie pop, whatever you call it, musician. And apparently, they met and started dating. He was 18 or 19 years old at the time. She herself was 14 and therefore a minor. So, an illicit relationship that they were having secretly, undercover because again, it was illegal and her parents didn't approve of it, and rightfully so. And so apparently they were still sneaking around together. He was still sneaking around with her as the adult. And she'd be seen on his stream sometimes. She'd be seen like photographed with him sometimes. And so there's ample evidence out there that shows that he was dating this minor at the time. And then when she went missing, because her family reported her missing because she ran away to be with him, she was found in his Tesla. September of last year, Celeste Rivas was found in singer David's Tesla. And it's taken them this long for him to be arrested. So if that was September, this is 7 months. Even though she was found dismembered in his car, it's taken them 7 months to arrest David. But you know what? Good news is he has been arrested. And so that's me summarizing it, but there's a better video that summarizes it as well. So let's go ahead and get into that. Give me one moment. My apologies, guys. Let's go ahead and get it now. Well, while that loads, here is a video of the singer David himself actually talking about his music. My apologies, guys. I have no idea why that is not working. All of the clips have been loaded up ahead of time. So let's give it one more go here. Hopefully this clip will load for us. Okay. My apologies. Trying to get one of the many clips that I have that summarizes this really well for us to work.
I am announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as David, spelled D4vd, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. And there are 3 sets of charges that have been brought. The first-degree murder with special circumstances, and again, those special circumstances are lying in wait. That Celeste went to Mr. Burke's home on the night of April 23rd, 2025, as alleged in the complaint, at his invitation, and again, was not heard from again. The second is a special circumstance being that this murder was committed for financial gain. As the evidence will show in court, the financial gain was for Mr. Burke to maintain his very lucrative musical career that Celeste was threatening on that particular night. The third charge, in addition to lying in wait and for financial gain, is murdering a witness to an investigation. In this particular case, as the evidence will come out in court, the witness to the investigation was Celeste. And the investigation was into the lewd and lascivious sexual acts committed by Mr. Burke that is the subject of count 2 of this complaint with Celeste while she was under 14 years old. The investigation was to determine who killed, who murdered Celeste months and months before. That investigation was carried out in unison and in partnership between the LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and the District Attorney's Office. At every point in the investigation, through the arrest and the filing of charges, the LAPD and the District Attorney's Office have worked in lockstep. There's been no disagreements amongst these entities in deciding how to proceed with this case, ultimately leading to these charges today.
Well, it sounds like they're going to throw the whole book at him, and rightfully so. I'm grateful that something is finally being done. I wish it would have been done sooner because there was ample evidence to show that David was involved. But you know what? Better late than never. Hopefully it's an open and shut case and that he spends the rest of his life behind bars for doing that to that little girl. And so prayers for Celeste Rivas and her family. May justice be served. And I will keep my eye on this crime, this case for us, and I'll continue to report on it. And so next, another tragedy that happened this weekend, unfortunately, we haven't had a mass shooting in a while here in this country, you know, and there was a time where it was just happening back to back to back. And it seemed like, you know, perhaps things were calming down out of everything else that's going on. We weren't having those types of things. And so unfortunately, in Shreveport, ooh, that word has me on the ropes here. Shreveport, Louisiana, there was a mass shooting by a man named Shamar Elkins. Shamar Elkins, from what I've gathered, was a part of the National Guard. He was a father. It appears as though he was married to the mother of his children. So that right there is Shamar Elkin, and then that's the mother of his 8 children by her. Let me go ahead and pull up that photo here. So that's Shamar with all 8 of his children. And Shamar Elkins allegedly this weekend, not even allegedly, it was proven this weekend that he went on a rampage, unfortunately, and ended up unaliving his children, one of their cousins, and then shooting 2 other women in the process who are now in critical care. And so we have a video that surmises that better than I'm doing. So let's hope and pray that it works. All right. Let's see here. Okay, I guess we'll let it play and then we'll start again. So while our video loads, I'll just surmise it. Yes, a father identified as gunman who killed 8 children and wounded others. Apparently, this started in another home. So he had gotten into a dispute in another home and then decided to go down to the home where his children and his significant other was, and also opened fire on them. Shamar Elkin was then later apprehended after the shootings. He fled the scene, did a carjacking from what I know so far. The carjacking victim was not hurt, but Shamar did engage in a carjacking and a high-speed chase with officers, and then he was later not apprehended, but he was, shot during that dispute with officers. And so if I can get the clip to work, I will try to play it before we get out of here. And so, prayers for the families of the victims, the community that I'm sure right now is really going through it, and for the 2 victims that have been critically wounded and are on life support. As updates come in about this, I will do my best to keep us updated here on the Ratchet Christian as well. Last but not least, an update on the Strait of Hormuz, guys. We are back in conflict. Not that we ever really stopped, but we're back in conflict in with the Strait of Hormuz. We had the 2-week ceasefire deal. The strait was open. Things were moving. People were getting their cargo in and cargo out. Excuse me. But over the weekend, Trump tweeted this. Let me go ahead and make it wider for us. Trump tweeted, "Today, an Iranian flag cargo ship named Tuska, nearly 200 feet long and weighing almost as much as an aircraft carrier, tried to get past our naval blockade, and it did not go well for them. The U.S. Navy guided missile destroyer USS Spruance intercepted the Tuska in the Gulf of Oman and gave them fair warning to stop. The Iranian crew refused to listen, so our Navy ship stopped them right in their tracks by blowing a hole in the engine room. Right now, U.S. Marines have custody of the vessel. The Tuska is under U.S. Treasury sanctions because of their prior history of illegal activity. We have full custody of the ship and are seeing what's on board. Sincerely, President Donald J. Trump." So the U.S. Seized an Iranian ship, which is not a good sign for, the conflict. It's not a good sign of things de-escalating. And so let's see here if we can get this to do what it needs to do. My apologies, guys. All of the media that I had uploaded is not working today, but that is okay. So yes, the Strait of Hormuz, which is the bane of Trump's existence right now, has been opened because of the cease deal, but it has not been a peaceful opening. And as was stated in this tweet right here, we went ahead and seized it. And there was another thing that I found on Al Jazeera as well, right here. Pardon me. Let me get this stuff off the screen. It says right here, U.S. Iran don't want to return to war despite posturing. And I try not to, I try to get my sources from not just CNN or Fox, because clearly they have their own biases. And so for me, I feel like Al Jazeera is a safe middle. That's kind of funny for it to be a safe middle, but to me, it seems to be. So yes, U.S. Iran don't want to return to war despite posturing. The U.S. and Iran and their mediators engage in much posturing, but do not want the conflict to flare up again. According to Marco Vincesco, the executive director of the Global Strategy Project, deep down inside, what they do share is that no one wants a return to war, which is great. Vincenzo had told Al Jazeera, yet there is no trust, and that underscores and underlines the importance of third parties. Maybe there won't be a return to the conflict, but there will be a continued state of managed instability, he added. Well, I really do hope that's not the case. I hope we don't find victory to be a managed instability. Although the country is unstable, it's managed. It's yeah, but it was fine the way that it was before. And so I just pray that this gets resolved. There was another talks of, the ceasefire not being renewed as Trump is waiting for Iran to come to the table with a deal that we can all agree on. And as of right now, it doesn't seem that we've reached one. And so we'll just keep an eye on those things. We'll keep those things in prayer. And thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're watching on Rumble, please make sure that you follow, comment. I am a person who loves conversations. I want to know what you all think about, the tragedies in Shreveport and the good news of David being arrested, and also what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz, or as my husband likes to call it, the Strait of Hummus. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Wanna see everybody throw it up. If you ain't folks, can't go with us. After school program, just don't do